As people sign on, I'm going to get started, but very warm welcome to everyone. Please say hello and exchange contacts in the chat. Good morning. My name is Lisa Correlson and I am the Chief Exec of the Canterbury Business Improvement District, and I'm hosting this session this morning with my colleague Rachel Pillard, and we're delighted to welcome Steve Howard from Finally, who I will introduce in just a moment. But we are hosting this session in our series of virtual training sessions as part of the Reopening the High Street Safely project, which is run through Canterbury City Council, and we as Canterbury BID are part of that. So we're delighted to have this session today and to be able to connect with you even virtually. But of course, very much looking forward to next week where indoor food and beverage and more reopening can take place, so we can meet up for business lunches and lots of other things. I don't know about you, but I'm going to the pub next week, which is very exciting. I just wanted to flag a couple of things. We have the second in our series of virtual networking coming up on May the 26th from 5:30 to 6:30. Our last one featured a chocolate tasting and an update from the team by the Hampton by Hilton team. This one is going to feature a beer tasting session by Shepherd Neame, and we're going to have an update from the council on their £1 million plans to revamp the top part of the High Street, St George's Street, which is a great investment into the city. So we'd love for you to come along and hear about that, but we only have a few spaces left and we do need everyone to RSVP so we can send your goodie bag out in advance. So please RSVP for our networking if you'd like to come. For BID members, that's on May the 26th from 5:30 to 6:30, and let us know by the end of this week. We'll put the information in the chat and also in the follow-up email after this. So I now want to introduce Steve. Steve, thanks for taking the time and joining us. You are based in Canterbury. You are the co-founder of the marketing agency Finally, but you do a lot of work outside of the city. So it's great to have you join us here for this. And you are a top 1% LinkedIn user, and you're going to explain what that means and how we can all be using LinkedIn better, and how LinkedIn works and kind of judges us and how we can make the most of it. So I'm really looking forward to this session. And without further ado, Steve, over to you.
Wow, okay. Thank you very much, Lisa. Hi, everybody. Really nice to be here. It really is genuinely great to be presenting to, local people with local businesses. LinkedIn is a really great platform. And yeah, I just want to show you today how you can get more out of it, use it in maybe perhaps a slightly different way to what you're using now. If we can maybe leave questions to the end, we'll have a really great question and answer session at the end. But feel free to put the questions in as we go. And I think Rachel's going to keep an eye on the questions, and I'll do my very best to answer them as much as we can. So I'm going to use my little bit of technology here to switch over to my little presentation. So you go. So you can still see my ugly face. So let's go. So this is how to win friends and influence people on LinkedIn. So this is, a great platform if you use it correctly. Sorry, I need to switch my presentation. There we go. So this is me, Steve Howard. I am the CEO of Finally. We are an agency just near Canterbury West. Above Paddy Power is where we live. I am married. I've got 3 kids, 3 dogs. I'm a wannabe rock star, but I'll go into a little bit of that in a second. So there we go. So that is me. This is the Finally team. So we're a team of 20 people. Really lovely team of people, really proud to work with the people that I do work with. They put a smile on my face every day. And this is kind of what we do. So I don't really want to talk too much about this because we want to talk about LinkedIn. But yeah, so we're like a full service agency. We actually specialize, one of our key sectors is engineering and manufacturing. So before we talk about LinkedIn, I just wanted to stop and just have a little think for a second, because LinkedIn really is just like a mouthpiece for your business and you as a person. And so you have to take a lot of time before you even really start thinking about LinkedIn, of thinking like, why should, so as a B2B platform, say, why should somebody choose you or your business? So let me tell you a little story. So when I was growing up, I wanted to be a rock star, singer-songwriter. That is right, I'm the living, breathing David Brent of this agency. And I had a big decision to make. Basically, I had to work out whether I wanted to be original, have my own style, my own lyrics, melodies, really give record companies something to think about, or whether I was just going to be another Liam Gallagher wannabe. And I shall let you decide which route I took. So, much to my embarrassment, I thought I'd play that. And my point, I do have a point to this, apart from showing some old footage of me in my 20s, is that I was just another Liam Gallagher wannabe. I didn't really think about what I could do to make me stand out from other people and make it easy for a record company to choose me. So that is my point of this. So what's really important is that you stand for something as a business. Now, I'm sure some of you, many of you will already have this sorted, but when I work with lots and lots of businesses, and actually this is something that people really fail at, because you think you're being different, but really you're not. You need to think about what you offer as a business. You need to think about who your target customer is, your absolute, who you want to work with, your ideal customer, because if you know who that is, then you can go out and find them and start communicating with them. You need to maybe, what you stand for could be your process. It could be the sectors you serve. For example, Finally specializes in working with the engineering manufacturing sector. And it might even be the area you reach. So we specifically work in the Kent area, the Canterbury area. So something else you need to think about. So it's really, really important that you stand for something. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So this is actually probably not the nicest example, actually, but not the nicest subject. But Cordell, effectively, they are just a solicitor firm, okay? They are a legal firm, and they could be, like any other legal firm. If you don't position yourself, especially in the service sector, accountancy or in the legal sector, if you don't position yourself correctly, you're always going to be running your business on referrals, and you're going to become that local solicitor firm. So this is what Cordell and Cordell didn't do. What they did, if you can see their strapline here, a partner men can count on. So let me show you their advert. And you can see that actually, effectively, they are just a local solicitor firm, but because of their positioning, because they know what they stand for, and also the type of customers they want to get, it makes it so much easier for them to get those target customers.
Divorce. It threatens the things you've worked hardest for. Your home, your savings and pension, and above all, your relationship with your children. Don't let divorce cost you any more than it has to. Call Cordell and Cordell on 0330 60 60 161 or visit cordellcordell.co.uk. A partner men can count on.
Now, I know it's quite a depressing subject, but I think it's actually a really good example of someone that could just be a local solicitor firm, but because they've sorted out their positioning and exactly what they stand for, who their target market is. If you are a man going through divorce, you'd have every reason to want to go to this company because they would be on your side. And otherwise, I'll give you another example very quickly. Not that way. You want to see that again?
Divorce.
Okay, so here's another example, another service firm. So a while ago we were looking for a new accountants. Now we did look locally for an accounting firm. We got a couple of local accountants in, and in the end, that was because that's everyone's go-to thing. Let's get a local accountant to speak to. But actually, in the end, We chose a company based in Hull, but they specialize solely in working with marketing agencies. So as a marketing agency, I felt confident that they are going to add value, because the great thing is when you specialize in something, you repeat it and you also get much better at it, because you keep working in the same sector with the same people, learning and learning and learning. It also makes you have more case studies. It makes and it makes it so much easier for someone like me running a marketing agency to choose a company that they said that is all we do, because they specialize in it. So I'm not going to dwell any more on this, but my point is that LinkedIn is your platform to tell the world. But if you haven't worked out what you want to tell the world, then actually it's going to be much harder and dilute what you're trying to say. So if you do work out how you're positioned, it's going to impact what you put on your LinkedIn profile, who you connect with. So when, for example, when we made the decision to specialize in engineering and manufacturing, I knew exactly then who I needed to target, MDs in manufacturing and engineering, and it made that so much easier. It also affects the content you create. So you can make content that's so much more relevant for your target audience. So takeaway one from this, I would say it's really massively important that you make it easy for someone to choose you. So take some time out of your day-to-day and work out that thing. So let's get onto LinkedIn now. Let's talk about LinkedIn. So let's very briefly talk about why is LinkedIn important. There's 600 million users in 200 countries. There are 90 million senior level decision makers. There are 30 million businesses listed. And quite an important stat, especially in the B2B world, is that 52% of B2B buyers and their decisions, LinkedIn has an influence on that decision. If you think about it, I know if I think about all the new business finally has got over the past, say, 12 months, most of it has actually come from LinkedIn. And when we've looked to use a supplier, that has definitely had an influence on our decision. So let's talk about your profile. So this is the first thing I want to talk about. This is your shop window. So imagine if you did own a shop, you wouldn't just kind of not think about how it looked and what you had in it. You would give it a lot of thought. It's the same with your profile. So you need to make sure that it looks good, that it stands out, that it's useful, that it communicates the key messages that you want your audience to know. And again, it needs to help them understand why they should choose you in your business. So with a profile, there are 7 things to consider: your tagline, your header image, your profile picture, your about page, your experience, and your featured section and recommendations. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over to my profile. I'm going to talk you through practically what I've done on my profile, and hopefully that's going to help put this more into context. So up here, actually let's talk about this bit here. This is your headline. So what a lot of people do here is their headline, they put as their job title. Actually, that's not helping people very much work out what value you can bring to them. So if you think about it, when you write a post or when you comment on someone else's post, they'll see your name and they'll also see the first line of this headline. So you need to make sure that first line counts, because everything you do from this point forward, that's what people are going to see as. So in the first line for me, I say I help MDs in manufacturing. So I'm saying the type of person I want to work with. I'm saying the sector that we work within. And then I'm trying to talk to them about the benefit I can bring. So I help MDs in manufacturing to define, plan, and grow their business with a proven return on investment within 12 months. So hopefully you see that that's quite tangible for someone to understand. If I said CEO at Finally, someone sees me always commenting, they're not going to know, all right, okay, I'm the, director of a business, but they're not going to actually know how I can help them. So that headline is crucial. If you do nothing else after this training session, have a think about your headline, because actually it'll also help you focus your business as well and think about what you really do as a business and how you help people. Up the top here, we have this space. This is your banner. A lot of people don't fill this in, so you'll just get some sort of template link thing that LinkedIn gives you. And sometimes people put sort of quite random things in here. If you booked a space in a magazine, there is no way that you would just put your logo there. This is kind of your advertising space for you. So what you need this to be almost the best advert for your business. So here again, I reinforce our message. We help engineering and manufacturing companies grow, get more customers, get better customers, keep more customers. And we've also got a hashtag that people follow. So it's just an advert. Think of that for your business too. If you're a company owner or, you're in sales, marketing, make sure this is really promoting what you want it to promote. You've also got your profile image. So actually LinkedIn will mark you down if your profile image is too busy. So you need to make sure you keep it really clean. I would say your profile image needs to be quite natural. So, this is about you as a person. You want to be quite friendly and welcoming. So I'm trying to get a natural smiling pose on my picture. I also use a colored background because there's a couple of things about a colored background. One is that it stands out in a feed. Secondly, it gives the psychology really that you care about what you do. You've given LinkedIn some thought, and that you're probably more of a kind of professional user of LinkedIn. So I would suggest a colored background because I think for those reasons. So if we scroll down, so let's go to the About section. So as you can see in the About section, when someone sees your profile, they only get these first couple of lines. So what I think you should be doing is posing the problem that your target audience has. Because it shouldn't be about you. I don't think this About section should be about you. It should be about what you want to achieve from LinkedIn. So if you say, hello, I'm Steve, I run a business, but it's all about me. And what you've got to do is flip that around. So it's all about your target customer. Because really, if you're not using LinkedIn for new business, maybe you might be using it for getting another job, for example. But for a lot of you, I know you'll want to be using it to open up new opportunities or get more exposure. Then when people visit your profile, talk to them like you're solving their problem. Also, talk to them one-on-one. So I use, I talk to them like, then I can help. Are you struggling to grow? So it's one-to-one. There's only ever going to be one person looking at your LinkedIn profile. So talk as if you're, almost talking across a coffee table. So you only see these first two lines. I say, as an engineering or manufacturing business, are you struggling to grow or even survive by relying too heavily on your existing contacts and referrals? Yes, then I can help. So then hopefully that's enough people think, okay, yeah, that is me. That is my situation. I want to read more. And then they can go on and read more. So I pose the problem, and then I talk about the solution. And then I give a little bit of security and trust that other companies think we're good to work with. I also then give a bit more information about who we work with. So if they think, oh yes, I am a good fit for that. I'm a good fit for Finally because I'm inside that turnover. I also talk a little bit about me just for a bit of fun, so they get to know me more as a person. And then down here, I list all the areas that we cover. So if someone thinks, yes, I am looking for a marketing agency, but I'm particularly interested in LinkedIn lead generation, for example, then they can look down and go, okay, I can see that Steve and Finally do that. It's okay to list here because you've already told your story, and also LinkedIn is searchable. So if someone's typing in something like conversational marketing, the idea is that you'll come up because it's in your About section. Hope I'm not going too fast. And then we have got the featured section. This, I would say, at least half of people that I come across don't fill out this section. It's a shame because it's probably the most, it's the best place to really showcase what you can do for your customers. I also think that it's really important to give you need to allow people to get to know you, okay? So that means you need to show your professional side and show other parts of you. So in my featured section, I start with a case study. So hopefully that's giving people a little bit of trust that it's a video case study. So actually on this featured section, you can link off to a website, link off to a case study on your website. You can put a LinkedIn post here. You can put images in here. So if I click the plus button here, you can see you can add posts, articles, links to other places. So here, I've got a case study, and then the next bit, I'm trying to showcase my expertise. So I talk about messaging. So this is a little video I did called 10 scientific secrets that make sure content impossible to ignore. I then have got an image of me looking a bit rough on the beach one morning, but it's a bit of a self-awareness post where I'm talking about how actually actually quite annoying to work with because I've always got these little ideas and throwing people off track. So talk about that. Then there's a promotional video about a software partner we work with. And then I gave another case study. So that's on my featured section. And then down here, you've got your experience section. This is where you can talk about your life. This is where you can talk about you and the jobs you've had. And then you've got recommendations down here. So, recommendations are great. Try and have as many as you can. People trust you. If other people say good things about you, it's much more convincing than you saying it. So try and get recommendations. All you've got to do is go out and ask for a recommendation from someone, or it's good to have 4 or 5. The more the merrier, really. Recommendations on there. Okay, so that's it. I've gone through the profile section, the main things you need to think about. Hope that's really useful. Some of you may be doing all of those things. Some may be doing some of them. It's always good to recap, I think, and think about how can I make my profile better. So I'm going to flick back to my presentation now. Okay, so takeaway 2, make your profile the best it can be. Okay, the next bit, I was quickly chatting to Lisa and Rachel before we went live about how LinkedIn is judging you. So you all have, some of you may know this, some of you may not know this. So you all have what's called an SSI score, a social selling index score that LinkedIn gives you. And this is based on these main things. 1, how good your profile is. So all the things I talked about a second ago, it will make sure, basically when you think about an SSI score, it is making LinkedIn trust you. If you do all these things right, LinkedIn thinks, okay, well, your profile's sorted and all these other bits are done. I can trust you and I'm going to push your content out a bit better. So it's how good your profile is, the quality and regularity of your content. So they'll be judging you on consistency. Really is key on LinkedIn. Trying to post, if you can, 3 times a week, because then you become more trusted by LinkedIn. So quality and regularity of your content. Using the search tools to go and find your audience. So it wants to know that you're using the tools, using the filters to find the right people that you want to work with. And also how you engage with other people's content. So this is like, it can't all be about you. LinkedIn wants you to go and comment and like other people's posts. And also it judges you how you go and connect and build relationships with other people. So, new connections, how you engage with them, and you have nice conversations. So what's the point of this? Touched on it a second ago. Basically, if you do have a good SSI score, so you can get your SSI score by going to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. linkedin.com/sales/SSI, and it will give you a score. So if you've got a decent score, so I tell you a good score, a good solid score is 70. 60, 70, okay. If you're getting up to 80, so this is where if you're 80 or above, generally you will be in the top 1% of LinkedIn users as judged by LinkedIn. So it means you're doing more of the right things. If you're under 60, actually I'll talk about this now. LinkedIn will take you more seriously as a user. And if you are under 60, if your score's under 60, LinkedIn will penalize you for having a score below that. So that means when you might write a great post, but actually it's not going to push it out to as many people because your score's too low and it can't yet trust you. So takeaway 3, look at those 5 things I talked about, and that will help improve your SSI score. So kind of the crux of this talk really is content. Content really is king. And when it comes to content and things in life that we generally agree on is that people buy from people. Also, that business is based on trust. You think about the businesses or the people you work with them because you trust them. And also, in general, none of us like being sold to. However, when it comes to LinkedIn, we don't really think, a lot of people don't think and act that way. It becomes very, very businessy. And we think, oh, LinkedIn's a place where I can go and connect with someone and sell them my products or sell them my service. It doesn't work like that. So every week I post, I pull together the top 10 posts within the sector I'm trying to target, within engineering and manufacturing. And what I thought I'd do was share with you quickly the posts. So the way I decide whether they're ranked in the chart is I just add likes to comments. So it's a total number of engagement. So it's nothing subjective like, oh, I like that post. It's what gets engagement. And that's key. That's kind of what we all need in order for your post to be seen by more people. So I'm going to show you some examples of posts that were have been number one over the last 6 months within my sector. This was a post from Richard. It's not a business post. He's not trying to sell his engineering firm, but he's just talking about the need for positivity within the media, and it caused a lot of opinion, but it was generally positive, and he captured the mood of the audience. Another guy talking about his being part of the vaccination program before obviously the vaccine was rolled out. This is Mark. I think Mark's local actually. He just shared a picture of his baby. I'm not suggesting this is it. You have to go out and have a baby to get good engagement on LinkedIn. But I'm just trying to show you the types of posts. This is a guy called Alan who had his son working in the factory. This is a guy called Anthony who just showed this really cool picture of this, maybe an advent calendar that we'd all like. It was seasonal. Is Jude told a really good joke. Nicola was celebrating 30 years as a business, but instead of just going celebrating 30 years with GM machinery, she told a story about her dad and it being a family business and kind of the experience that she's had. And then it becomes more of a story. It becomes more relatable. This was just like a meme that was put into the manufacturing engineering sector. So anyway, hopefully it gives you a flavor of the type of things that people want to connect with on LinkedIn. Because what you've really got to do when you're you've got to think about LinkedIn as a relationship building platform, not a place you can sell to, because if you can build relationships first, then the business will come later. The people that don't do so well are people that just want to use it as a sales platform. So LinkedIn is a social platform. People don't engage with sales posts. They'll get none. You have to allow people to get to know you as a person, because going back to the point of trust, people will work with people they trust. You've got to try and be genuine. And that doesn't mean to say you have to be not yourself, be crazy, or you have to be yourself, but you'll find your own way. Because that's really important. You might see certain people that, I don't know, maybe really charismatic or they're really quirky. And if you're not like that, then there's no point you trying to create LinkedIn content that isn't you, but you've got to allow people to get to know the real you, showcase your expertise, talk about things in an interesting way. So takeaway 4 from this is you've got to create content that lets people get to know you. LinkedIn is a social platform. If LinkedIn only had sales posts, company posts, boring posts, it would die as a platform. LinkedIn is introduced LinkedIn stories. It's introduced LinkedIn Live. It wants people to put great content on their platform because that's how they're going to make money from advertising. If more and more people, LinkedIn has to have people coming back every day. Otherwise, yeah, it just couldn't succeed. So I'm going to share with you something else very quickly. I want to talk about the weekly relationship journey. So this is a little kind of structure that you can use to try and show all sides of you. So this is what I call it, it's a weekly structure to build trust with your audience. So this is what on Monday, you can create a post which is basically, hello, I exist. This is a post that appeals to as many people as possible. It doesn't have to appeal to your target audience, but it's probably the post that probably get you the most engagement. Like on Monday, I put a post out about what TV series would you recommend? It literally took me 5 seconds to put that post up. So far, I've had 20,000 views on it, about 400 engagements on that post, because people want to share their knowledge and experiences. But Monday is hello, I exist. Tuesday is when you create a post called hello, well, I am relevant. So you've shown people you exist. The next day, you can show you're relevant to their market. So this is where you can showcase your expertise. You can demonstrate something about your organization. You can talk about a subject that's relevant to your target audience. It could be potentially controversial, or you might just have a strong opinion on something that gets people reacting to it. On Wednesday, I'm good at what I do. So this is where you want to talk about show a case study, share testimonials. So you've shown people you exist. You've shown you're relevant to them and their industry. I mean, I'm relevant is always a really good place to solve your audience's problems through video or infographics. Wednesday, I'm good at what I do is basically maybe an expertise piece, case studies, testimonials. And Thursday is want to know more. So on the Thursday, you can post, get people to actually do something, sign up to a newsletter, book a meeting, have a free 15-minute consultation. This is where you want people to engage. So you've kind of warmed them up during the week to the point, and on Friday, you can have a bit of a day off. But I would suggest on Friday, you really up your commenting. So let me show you some examples of those types of posts. So this, I would say I'm annoying would be a Monday post because it's just something that people can go, yeah, I'm a bit like that, or, it's just a good engagement piece. Tuesday, I'm relevant would probably be my manufacturing top 10. I'm showing that I am relevant to the industry. Wednesday, I'm good at what I do. So this is a post which is a case study of a local business we work with, Andrew James, where Andrew's saying nice things about Finally. And then Thursday, want to know more. This is trying to get people to sign up to our newsletter for the manufacturing sector. I try and do it in a bit of a funny way, so it's not too boring, a bit sarcastic, because pretty much everyone's fed up with newsletters. But Thursday is the bit where you want people to actually do something. So, sorry, my slides are a bit slow. What I'm trying to say is you need to stop selling. You need to build relationships. And if you build relationships, you'll create more opportunities, and in turn, you will actually sell more. So takeaway 5 is try and follow the relationship journey model. There's no point always just doing one type of thing. You need to allow people to get to know you as a person, what you're good at, show you're relevant, and then they might actually commit to a call, a meeting, signing up to a newsletter, for example. So in summary, I hope I've not given you two. I've gone quite quickly because I know we've only got a limited time and I want some time for questions. But 1, make it easy for someone to choose you. So that's the piece before LinkedIn where you really think about positioning your business. Make your profile the best it can be. Remember those 7 things we talked about. Even if you go in and try and improve 2 or 3 of them this week, that will really help, 1, your SSI score, and secondly, it will help your audience understand what you do as a business. And you'll look more professional too. So improve your SSI score. There's 5 things I talked about on that slide. I believe you are going to get a recording of this video, so you can go back and look at that. Create content that lets people get to know you. So this is not about sales posts, always business posts. You have to let people in if you want to build trust. And 5, think about the relationship journey model. If you can have that little structure, another thing on that, because sometimes I know it's really difficult creating content because you're often starting from a blank page every day thinking, God, what do I write about today? What can I talk about? But if you, one, have that structure that Monday, I know I'm going to do, a bit more of a light-hearted piece or, something that gets engagement. But also, if you think about 3 or 4 subjects that you can talk about, it might be running a business, it might be about company culture, it's likely to be about, your sector or the work you do. Create 3 or 4 subject areas, and then you kind of got, what you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then and you've also got the subjects to dip into, so it helps you spark ideas. Okay, so that's it from me. It's 40 minutes, so that's quite a long time. But a quick plug from me, if you do want any more help, I'm more than happy to help you. These are 2 things that I personally offer. One is one-to-one sessions. So I do 4 sessions where I go over other areas like the connection journey, the algorithm, tips for engagement. So I do one-to-one sessions where I work with you specifically on your business and your profile. But also I've just started doing something called groups, because in order to sort of reduce the cost and make it a bit more accessible for smaller businesses, I'm running a 90-minute session where I'm going to cover a number of areas, the ones which I just talked about, but in a kind of group format. And yeah, so if you are interested in that, then either connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. I'm gonna host one of these in probably about 4 weeks' time, one of the group sessions. But if you want one-to-one training or you're interested in the group session, then connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email, steve@wearefinally.co.uk. And breathe. Thank you very much. Hope it was useful.
That was brilliant. Thank you. I've actually there's some stuff I want to do straight away. I'm not going to wait for the slides. So I've taken some notes. That was fantastic. And I'm also going to use host's privilege to start off with a few questions. Okay. I love how, I don't know if have a look at the chat, you can see us all sharing our SSI. No,
I haven't seen anything. I've got 2 screens here and I was just focused.
Oh yeah, no, it's brilliant. Mine is 61, so I'm not being penalized, but I'm like,
you're
right
close.
There. So I'm going to be really competitive with myself and maybe follow up and talk to you about how long I need to give it until I can reach 70 or 80. See if I can.
Well, I think the tricky thing about the SSI score is that it has to be a continuous thing.
Yeah.
Because if you actually, I looked the other day, mine went down because I'd had such a busy 3 weeks that I'd not been commenting on as many people's posts. I'd still been posting, but I hadn't been commenting, and mine went down. So yeah.
Well, I've got 2 questions. I can see my third question someone else has asked. So Rachel's gonna, it's just related to company page versus personal. So we'll come on to that.
Sure.
So my first question is, when you talked about the profile and the headline, many of us have multiple roles, and we're so used to in other social media platforms connecting to those, so you whatever it is, so there's a link from your social media profile or post to that other role. So for example, I'm going to pick on some of our board directors who are here. So our chair is a partner at Creston Reeves. He is a chair of Canterbury Bid Board, and he's a trustee at the Marlow Theatre. And Clive, sorry, I'm probably forgetting a few things there. And if Alex Gordon is from Brayshires and also president of the Kent Law Society, and I'm thinking of myself as well. How do we cover that in our profile in the headline?
It's difficult. Obviously, you'll have it in your kind of experience where you'll have your different parts. I think ultimately, the difficult thing is that every time you have more than one message, it dilutes it. And I guess for you, what's important is that you think about, what do you want to get out of LinkedIn? What is the purpose of it? So, and then I think you need to tailor your profile around what you want to get out of it, because LinkedIn is entertaining, but also we're on it for a reason. We all want to get something out of it, whether it's to get a new job or whether you want to get a new business or whether it's to raise, just generally raise profile. So I guess if you're trying to promote yourself if it's a personal, so obviously if you're running a business, then that's kind of more straightforward. You think about how you help, who you help, how you help them. But if you're an individual that wants to raise their profile, then I think you can talk about how your key strengths and how your key strengths can help the organizations or people that you work with. Okay. I mean, because really the other option is you just have, if you've got 3 or 4 different roles, you can't really in your headline go, I do this, I do that, I do that. I think you have to talk personally about your kind of what you always bring to a situation and the problems you solve with the skills you have.
Yeah, understood. Because it's also about that connection related to those roles. But I understand what you're saying. We need to be descriptive in that. It's not a CV.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I guess what you got to think about, Lisa, what do you want someone to know about you and your business? Think about that and then write that as a line, and then that will be your headline.
And that's it. Yeah, no, got it. Okay. My second question, and then hands over to Rachel to pick up on the chat, is to do in terms of engagement. So how we engage with others, as one of the key points you made about improving our SSI and authentic engagement is about commenting and liking and engaging with other people's posts.
Yeah.
How often should we, or does it matter about sharing other people's posts?
Okay.
Should it be more that we generate our own content and comment and like others, or is it also about sharing other people's posts?
So, because obviously I couldn't cover everything in this session, but I talk about it in other training, is that comments are king. So actually, when you share someone's post, you're actually not doing them much of a favor. If you love, because LinkedIn doesn't like shares.
Okay.
So you'd think it would love shares, but basically if you think about it, what you're doing when you're sharing a piece of content, you're clogging up LinkedIn with a piece of content that already exists, which is probably why it doesn't, if you ever look at any shares, most of the time, unless it's an amazing share, but most shares will get 1 or 2 likes. So say, for example, you share something from Beards, it's unlikely to get engagement. So what you actually want to do is create your own separate original post about that subject. Because then LinkedIn sees it as a new piece of content that it can then almost start a blank page from and think, okay. So if you, so don't share. When you write a post, make sure you ask a question which gets comments, because comments are the thing that feeds the algorithm. So the more comments you get, I mean, likes do too, but comments more, because if you think about it, a comment is adding new content into LinkedIn, and comments create more content, which is basically what LinkedIn is all about. So if you want to help a post get boosted, then the best thing you can do is like it, or in fact, use one of the other symbols probably. I think there's some research that shows that if you get a mixture of reactions, then that says to LinkedIn, this is an interesting post. It's getting different types of reactions. That's a good thing, but it's go and comment on their post. If another little trick for you is if you got your own post and you want it to be seen by many people, obviously in the post, ask for people's opinions or shared experiences. And when someone comments, always reply to the comments, because firstly, it's polite. And secondly, it feeds the algorithm there's another comment on your post. Sounds a bit calculated, but there you go. Does that answer the question? Or?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And this is going to lead us nicely to, Rachel, I think the first question about the company page. But I think what you're saying is if, for example, I create a post on Canterbury Business Improvement District, and I really want to share that, I should duplicate it on my personal profile rather than share it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another little thing you can do if that's too time consuming, it's better to, you know how to get a screen grab of a piece, you know, like you can get a screen grabber, take a picture of it, write a post, put the picture in there, and then it's still a new post, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
So say if someone's written a really great post that you think is really relevant, but it's just a text post, you could take a screen grab of it, write your own thing, upload the image, and then it's a new post. So that's actually quite a good little trick. But yeah, I think, but yes, you'll see that if you're sharing your company posts, you're getting very limited engagement. But if you wrote your own post about the same subject with your own it's going to do much, much better.
Great. Thank you, Rachel. I'll let you pick up on some of those questions.
I'm still processing. My mind is slightly blown by all of this. So it's just brilliant. There are a lot of comments here already that are basically just saying thank you so much. This has been absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Steve.
Good, thanks. I haven't actually seen any of it, but
well, I'll copy and paste it later.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
There you go. But there is one question, and that's from Dave Yard at the Gulbenkian. And this is business page versus individual pages. Would you recommend the same approach, or do you think people are less likely to interact with a company profile rather than an individual?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I've kind of learned quite a lot over the last 18 months. So the stats are that a personal profile gets about 10 times more engagement than a company page does. I'm not saying that a company page isn't useful. I think if you think about your company page as the place where a lot of the information is, but it's not going to be the thing that is going to get you lots of engagement, because people just don't engage with logos, company pages. I mean, there are a few exceptions, like Seed to Branch is a really good example of a company that's made their company page work, but they post like 4, 5, 6 times a day with loads of the best marketing agency stuff around, and it takes a lot of effort. And I don't think most people have got that time. I mean, I think it's really important that Gulbenkian has their own company page, because people will go there for information. But I think it's an interesting one, Gulbenkian, because actually it is an interesting, it's an interesting company page because stuff's going on there. But if you want to actually, in general, the general rule of thumb for me is personal pages is the way to go. Build your personal brand. So, you know, I've done that for myself, and I know who my target audience is, and I can write lots of different posts and people can get to know. It's very hard to get to know a company. It's much easier to get to know a person. And in turn, people may like what I say, and then in turn will, and this happens a lot, work with Finally on the back of what I put on LinkedIn. And I can show all different sides of me. I can demonstrate expertise. But one thing I have done is really try to push and promote LinkedIn inside Finally. So if any of you, you know, have seen some of our posts, you will see that I have a number of staff members that have really engaged with LinkedIn as well. And what they do, instead of selling Finally, they sell Finally by educating the audience. So, you know, we'll have like Ella in SEO. She'll start helping and training people on LinkedIn about SEO. Chris will talk about social. Matt talks about HubSpot. Charlotte talks, you know, very much about operations. Obviously Rob here as well. He's got his own sort of live that he does every Wednesday. So we are very active on LinkedIn, but we do it individually. So it's kind of like a collective push. So another training thing I do offer is Teams training, where I try and, if there's a larger company that's got like a large sales team, and trying to get the sales team engaged with LinkedIn to realize actually it's a great place to generate new business leads. So I would say with the Gulbenkian, you probably do need to do both. The Gulbenkian page is a place where you would have, you know, who's on and what's going on at the Gulbenkian, and then probably, you know, the leader of the Gulbenkian becoming more, you can't be emotional as a company. It's very difficult. And people engage with emotional posts, things that move people, make them laugh, make them smile, you know, make them feel sorry for that person, celebrating the successes, commiserating the challenges and the losses. All those sorts of things really work. And I think it's very difficult to do that as a company page. But so I would say with the goal banking, I think you need to do both and think about the different types of content that's going to go on the personal and company page.
That brings up an interesting question then. So if LinkedIn, really a personal account is the promotion of a business, does that mean it almost needs to be factored into the business per se, you know, almost in recruitment, as soon as somebody becomes part of your team, well, they become a representative of your business. They're not themselves in LinkedIn.
Well, it is. They are a reflection of you, and it is a. I don't. You know, it is a tricky one. Unfortunately, I've not had any situations where I've had to bring someone into your game, because it is a difficult conversation to have. Saying you can't post that on your personal profile. I can't say that. Obviously, if someone was posting inappropriate stuff under the Finally name, there would be issues with that. But yeah, it's an interesting point. But I guess it's just, you know, having the right people really. And it's just in terms of the recruitment thing, we kind of almost do consider that. I mean, it's much easier for me running a marketing agency because, you know, people who are of a similar ilk and they understand the benefits of marketing and they understand the impact their activity can have on Finally. But I think if you can have a culture of education and educating your market about what you do, and LinkedIn becomes just a platform for sharing that, then I think that's a good way to go.
Excellent. I've got another question. Does it help to tag people in your posts?
Yes, it really does. So for example, one of the great things about my top 10 that I do every week is that I get to tag the 10 people in who've made the top 10. And I also tag another 5 people that nearly made it. So I normally tag 15 people in, and I'm not spamming them. These, you know, I think the danger, I tell you what people are doing in the manufacturing sector is they'll have about 20, 30 people when they write a post, and they go, also in their comments, they'll put, also follow these people who are really great at promoting UK manufacturing. And they'll tag me in, for example. And I don't mind, because I think, oh, that's quite nice, because I'm getting seen to their audience, and I will then more likely, I feel obliged to go and comment on that post. So as long as it's not spammy, I don't think it's a good thing to tag in people that you don't know, or you can tag people in you don't know if there's a real relevance to it. We do it like every month. We tag in 5 LinkedIn influencers in a post we do. But we're doing it for a reason, because we've mentioned their post or something. But definitely tag people in, because one, you're going to get more comments. Those people are going to get that notification. They're going to go back to the post. They're going to comment, and that's going to feed the algorithm, which is going to make your post, you know, go to a wider audience. Just so you know, very quickly, how LinkedIn works in terms of when you make a post. For those that don't know, what it will do, it will send. LinkedIn judges whether a post is getting engagement within the first, excuse me, normally in the first hour. So and that's why it's kind of called the golden hour. And that's why you get things like pods where people like get together and say, right, at, you know, 11 o'clock, I'm going to do a post. You've all got to go and comment on it. That's how kind of pod works. So it's the golden hour. So basically that first hour, it sends your post to between 5 to 10% of your connections. And then based on how that 5 to 10% engage with your post, that will tell LinkedIn whether your post is any good, whether people actually like it. So if your post gets loads of comments and loads of likes early on, LinkedIn goes, okay, this is a good post. Because there's no little man there going, oh, let me read this post. It's an algorithm. And it will tell the algorithm that it's a good post. And then what it does, it will then send it out to another bunch of people. If you've had good engagement, and then how they react, it then says, okay, that's had a good reaction, and then it'll send it out to one. So that's how these posts go viral, by LinkedIn going, this is great, and it goes out to a wider audience. But it starts with 5 to 10% of your network.
Right. Wow. Okay. So the golden hour is what we've got to think about.
Well, that's why, you know, to be honest, here, if I've written a post, I'll put it in our Slack channel to the staff members and go, oh, can you go and show my post some love, please? So they might, you know, if they've got time, they'll go and like it or comment on it or something. So you'll see the first 2 or 3 comments probably are mighty, but you can do that inside your company, you know, and get people involved in it, and there's nothing wrong with your staff members, you know, supporting your post. I think it's fine.
And Lisa just slipped in another question. How important are hashtags to post?
Yeah, so hashtags actually is really easy on LinkedIn to work out whether, because I think sometimes people have no idea why they're using a hashtag, and they just put hashtag, oh, I'm having a really bad day today, which is fine, you know, it's just, that's kind of funny, but it's not going to do your post any good. So thinking about your sector, so what I'll tell you just, and I'm going about manufacturing and stuff, but it's kind of our industry, but you need to know how many people follow a hashtag. So for example, in my industry, UK manufacturing, hashtag UK manufacturing has nearly 12,000 followers. Manufacturing UK has 600. So if I didn't know that, I might do hashtag manufacturing UK and I'm only going to 600 people. So yes, hashtags are good, but do your research. All you need to do to find out how many followers there are is go to, I don't know if I can quickly go back to my, go here. Okay, let me just, so all you need to do is go hashtag, if I do this, UKMFG, so normally what happens is you do that, and then what it will do, it'll bring up a post that's got that hashtag in. So then you look at more, see more of that post, and then you click on the hashtag you're interested in, this one, and then it will take you to, here, and it says there's 6,368 followers. So that's how you know. So that's how you do your research. Sometimes when you put it in there, it will go straight to this bit, but most of the time you'll have to find a post, click on the hashtag and get it, okay? Yeah. So, but yeah, really important, because I'll tell you another tip. I didn't mean to go back to my plug then, by the way, I clicked the wrong button. I'll tell you another really good tip actually, which I learned from somebody, is that firstly, hashtags, don't put them in a row, put them vertically down, because then they're easier to see. And also LinkedIn gives you as much space as you want. But also don't always use the same hashtags, because if you think about it, if you use the same 3 hashtags, like I know my best 3 hashtags for my industry, but if I always use the same 3 hashtags, I'm always being seen by the same people. So what is suggested is you find like your top 10 hashtags and then kind of mix up, use 3 or 4 at a time, probably 4's max, use 3 or 4 different ones each time. So then you get seen by different people who are following different hashtags. See, I think that's quite a nice little tip.
Like that. Excellent. I had one tiny question myself, and I know we've only got a couple of minutes. When we think about Facebook posting or Instagram, one of the things that's been highlighted to us in the past is posting at the weekend, because that's actually when a lot of people are on those channels. With LinkedIn, obviously you've given us content where you're suggesting you should do like a post a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Does that mean, because it's more sort of business driven, you don't need to think about the weekend? I
think the thing is yeah, it is basically that. Okay. I think it's really good to experiment and see what works. Honestly, the key with LinkedIn, as like most social media platform, content is king. But in terms of the research that's been done, there are set times that are supposed to be the best times to post. I think Tuesday's a really good day, between 9 to 10. Same sort of time Wednesday, and also I think like Friday at 12. I do cover this, I'm not trying to plug my job, but I do cover this in some other training. But I would suggest that if you want to play it safe and simple for now, that 10 o'clock on a weekday is a good time to post, because it allows your post to have enough time to grow during the day that you kind of get, and also people might be having a break or just want to have a little, that seems to be a good time to post. That's generally when I post, is about 10 o'clock. And yeah, so when I did a post about this before, someone did say to me that, oh, I post at the weekends, I get quite a good engagement. Well, it might just be you made a really good post. I think it's good to experiment, but I would say it is a business platform. Most people are, but the great thing, just very quickly, a bit like the hashtags, if you post it at the weekend, you might hit different people. So it's good to mix it up, because actually someone who hasn't got time in the week might be free on Sunday looking at their LinkedIn feed.
And sorry, there was one final question. Can you set times in advance for posting times to automatically be published?
Yes, you can. There are, so like Hootsuite, you can schedule posts. So if you've got the time, I'd suggest actually you do write a week's worth of content and then you're not, and then you can schedule the posts. We're a HubSpot partner, so we use HubSpot to schedule our posts. But you can write all your content, schedule it all in. You can sit back and relax, knowing that it's all going to go out at certain times. And you're not thinking. Unfortunately, certain posts I can't schedule, so I can't schedule my top 10 because there's too many complexities in it. But which means that I have to be ready. It's annoying because sometimes I accidentally delete a post and I've got to start all again. But yes, of course, there's plenty of software out there where you can schedule posts, and it does stop you forgetting, and it makes your life a bit easier.
That's really helpful, and that's certainly with other social media platforms, that's true as well, isn't it? That you can schedule some, but not the more complex ones. You've got to be ready with that and do it yourself.
I think LinkedIn's the same, Lisa. I think I don't know of a platform that allows you to do all the things I like to do in scheduling. So I know like an image post is fine and a text post is fine, but I think actually tagging people you can't really do. So that you have to. So like, for example, my top 10 is got 15 tags in it. So I can't do that, which is annoying.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I know we've gone a couple of minutes over, but we wanted to squeeze those questions in.
Fine by me.
No, it's great. So just we will be sending around the slides and the recording and just a few bits and pieces of follow-up, some upcoming dates. So our networking on the 26th, but also we'll let you know the follow-up information if you want to get in touch with Steve for additional training. But thank you so much for that. It was really, really helpful. Lots of immediate takeaways and just fantastic and great. I know we can't see all of you on this webinar format, but it's great to see your names here. And all the best to everyone who's reopening more next week. If we can help with anything, please do be in touch. Or if you know of another business who needs some support, please do be in touch. You've got us at Canterbury Bid, and across the district, the Reopening the High Street Safely team is available as well. So all the best, everyone. We'll close the session down now, and Rachel will follow up with an email with the slides and the recording.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.